Hello guys, this is Data Gyan, and as promised I have come up with the next video in the playlist SQL Basic to Advanced with interview questions. So today's use case is very unique, and this has been asked in Uber and Amazon, and the requirement is you have to pivot the table. So here you can see this is our input table. Okay, we have the student ID, and for one student for his three subjects marks are given, and for the student ID 2 marks are given, but the output required is the student ID should come once and marks should come like this. So here you can see the subjects are basically in the row format, but the requirement is you have to pivot the data and you have to make the row data into column data. Okay, and then you have to split the marks that is also the row data in the format of this type of column. Okay, so this is a very unique case, and this has been asked in Uber and Amazon. A lot many times I have seen this question recently in service-based companies as well. So let's start and create our table. Okay, so creating the table, I'll explain you the schema then and there. So we have to create the table. So let me create the table for you. So we have created the table, and the table's name is student std underscore tab. Okay, and what we have created a SID that will be student ID, and we have created the subject and we have given it a marks. Okay, now let me insert few of the values so that we can operate on this. Yeah, so let's go and insert some values into this. Yeah, so we have inserted some of the values. Let's see if the table is ready or not. What we'll do, we'll select star from a table std underscore tab. Okay, let's run the SQL. So as you can see, the data has been populated. It's same to the data that was in the question itself. So for better visibility, let's come here. So we have created a table student tab, and the data is in this format. Okay, so student ID, subject and marks, we want in this format. So what will be the approach? So whenever you have to pivot a table, okay, you have to understand which column you want to pivot and what are the data that you want subsequent to it. Okay, so when you are pivoting, just look at the table once instead of just trying to figure out the query. Try to figure out how will you design the query. So let me just design a query for you, and I'll show you the intermediate data, and I'll show you what was the approach that I followed. So if I tell you the query now, so what I'm doing, I'm selecting the student ID. Okay, and what I'm doing, I'm using case when operator. So case when is very important when you want some data to be pivoted or you want to verify some condition. Case when will always help you. So what I'm doing, if you are able to understand a single line, then you'll be able to understand the whole pivoting operation. So I'm selecting the student ID, then I'm going and checking if the subject is English. So let's come over here. If the subject is English, take up the marks, then marks. If subject is something else, then just give it as 0. Okay, and I'm aliasing it as ENG. Then I'm going for the next select, and it's case when subject is science, then take up the marks, else give me 0. And then if the subject is math, take up the marks, and else give me 0. Okay, so if I run this query, you will see student ID 1, when the subject was English, it took up the marks, else it took up zeros. Okay, because there were 3 rows in the entry column. As you can see over here in our primary table, the input table, for student ID there were 3 rows: student ID 1 with English as a subject, student ID 1 with science as a subject, and student ID 1 maths as a subject. Okay, and marks were given. So here what it did, it went into the first case and it's searched for English. So when English came, it picked up the marks, else it gave me 0. Okay, then for the second, it went and fetched the science. So when science was there, it picked up the marks, else it gave me zeros. Same with math also. When math was there, so marks it picked and it's 0. So it doesn't suffice our use case. So it's not looking that great. And the output that the interviewer wanted was the student ID should come once and all the marks should come subsequently in front of it. Okay. So as you can see, it's not coming in that way. So what we can do, if I write an aggregation on this, okay, if I give sum for this, and I'll explain you why I chose to write sum. So if I do the addition, 88 plus 0 plus 0, okay, So let me bring this data so that I can tell you how and when I decided this. So if I take the first one, just consider this. So if I give 88 plus 0 and then plus again 0, it will be still 88 itself, right? And if I want to remove the 3 lines and just want it in a single row, then what we can do, we can create a group of it because the ID is common for all those. But whenever you are doing a grouping, you have to do the aggregation. So what I chose sum as the grouping because it will give me still 88 when sum of the English is done, but it will give me ID as 1. Okay, so I did the sum. And if we go from here and select from student tab, group by SID, and if we run this, you will see the ID will be coming once and marks will be coming as a single entity. For second also, 70 plus 0 gives 70. For science, here you can see, for science, 0 plus 90 plus 0 is still 90 for ID 1. And if we go for ID 2, 0 plus 80 plus 0 is still 80. And same goes for the math one, 0085, it's still 85. And 0083, it's still 83. So it gave me grouping on the basis of IDs. So all the 3 IDs got converted to a single one. So it came 1. And then the marks were aggregated and the printed in front of this. So from this, you can understand if you use case when and you decide from the input table what column you want to pivot, that column you have to check a condition. In that condition, you have to give the column name, and then you have to decide how in which orientation the data is required. So in this question, data was required in the format of English should have been a column and data should have been populated over here. So for this, I chose the subject column as the pivoting column and data column to be fetched and put in at the lower end of the table. So I did that. And why I use the sum operator? Because I want to remove all these 3 entities that are there for a single ID, and I want it in a single ID. So grouping was needed. And to group, you have to do the aggregation. So I chose sum and group by. It gave me the desired output as this. You can see if we fetch the data, let me paste it over here. So this was given by the interviewer itself. So you can match it from here. So we are getting the same answer. So hope you guys have learned something out of it. And if you like the way I teach you, and if you like the questions that I'm bringing up, please like and subscribe. As I can see, many people are watching the video, but they are not subscribing to it. I want this channel to grow so that I can help as many people as possible. So please like and subscribe and help me out in this. See you soon. Thank you.